thanks for gardening with me. I'm Melissa. Today I'm out in the greenhouse working. It's actually pretty humid in here right now. It's 68% humidity. It's like 50 something or 62 degrees outside today and the wind's blowing like crazy. But it's 68 in here. It feels really good. What I plan on doing today is I've got a little bit going on with fungal gnats. And it's not horribly bad, but I want to kind of nip it in the butt before it gets too bad. And I have read that if you put gravel over the surface, then the gnats can't burrow down into the, or they probably could, but they choose not to, burrow down through the gravel to get to the soil to lay their eggs. So that's what I'm doing today. I bought this little teeny bag of soil, and I clearly need more, but I'll take a close up and show you what that looks like. Today I'm also planting my onions today, and I am planting Fairy Morris onion, Walla Walla onions, which they're like 2-pound onions. They're supposed to be beautiful. This is the first time I've ever grown onions from seed. It's pretty straightforward, so I shouldn't have any problems, you know, hopefully. But non-GMO, USDA organic, 115 days to harvest. Now this is also something that, let's see, start indoors 8 to 10 weeks before transplanting outdoors. So our last frost date is April 24th, so 6 to 8 weeks before that, which I'm about right there now, maybe even a week late. But I'm gonna get these started. I also have some dwarf blue kale and romaine lettuce, and both of them are organic. These are from Botanical Interest, and I think I got these from Straders in Reynoldsburg, if you know where that is. But so that is what I'm doing today. Also, some of the other stuff that I have started in here, because I have started propagating my geraniums, which are just, they're lovely. They're doing amazing. So I wanted to propagate some of them, and on my propagations, I want to put this vermiculite. I'll show you that. Vermiculite over the surface of them. It helps to keep, again, the fungal gnats away, and it also helps retain moisture. So I'm going to be going through everything and either covering it with the grit today or the vermiculite, and like I said, get a couple things started. So come along with me, I'll show you what that looks like. So another way to combat the gnats is with sticky traps, and I already used one of these inside because I have a couple house plants in there, and there's already like 4 or 5 gnats in the house, and I didn't even realize I had gnats in the house. So you can just get strips and cut them into any shape that you want. I got these cute little butterflies, but it's nice because you just peel the sticky part off. In theory, I think I made that a lot harder than it needed to be. Wow. Okay. So there's that. The bottom part is not sticky. The top part is sticky, and it's got something on it that attracts the gnats. So let's see if I can get this side off a little easier. There we go. So it has something that attracts the gnats, and all you do is just sit it right down in your plant, just like that. And then hopefully the gnats will be attracted to that. Now this doesn't do anything to kill the gnats that are already down in the soil, but it'll kill off the adults, and therefore you know, they won't be able to lay any eggs. So hopefully that should take care of the problem. So I'm going to get these going, and I'm probably not going to put one in every single pot, but I'll put them in quite a few. So I'm going to share a little bit of my seed starting mix with you for today. I have a just a container soil in here for just container gardening. It's a spoma, and I added a bunch of water to that. I'm going to add some blood meal to that, and I'm also going to add some worm castings. And I think that should give all my seedlings a really good head start. You don't want to have so much fertilizer in there that it burns things up, but in my personal opinion, I think everything needs a little bit of food to get a good healthy start. Also, once a week I'll be coming by and feeding them with this. It's organic Neptune's Harvest, and it's fish fertilizer. Good thing about this is I still don't have smell since having COVID, so I can't smell it anyway. I don't know if it does smell or not, but hopefully not. But that's what I'm going to use, so I'm going to go ahead and get my onions started first. So I have all of my ingredients mixed together, and I have this wet. It's not sopping wet or anything like that, but it is moist. I mean, if you pick it up, squeezing some of the water out, which tells me that it's still too wet. So I'm going to add some more soil in here until I get it to where when I go like this, I can't wring the water out. There we go. That's good. That's a perfect amount of moisture to start seeds in. So you don't want to start seeds in soil that's completely dry, because if you do that, it's going to dry your seeds out and kind of get you off to not a great start. So these little containers I had from my husband. Tony actually bought me a flat of succulents from Kroger last year, and they came in this, and they're bigger than the regular cell trays, so I shouldn't have to bump them up. They should be good to go. I'm not going to use, no, it's got, but anyway, so I shouldn't have to bump them up, which if you start some things indoors too soon, to keep the plant from getting stressed out, you may need to bump it up to a bigger container. And I'm starting so many seeds this year, so I really don't want to have to pot things up and put them in bigger containers. That just seems like a lot of extra effort. The benefit to starting things in smaller trays, though, is you know, like this has got 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 times 8, so 32 cells in it. Whereas if I had a tray that had 72 or 100 trays in it, 120 trays, 120 cells in it, then I could start more seeds with less space. So that is definitely a benefit. I think space is probably going to be at a premium in here anyway, so it wouldn't be a horrible idea to be able to do that, but I would just prefer to see if I can get away with, like I said, without potting things up. So this mix has got a few bigger chunks in it, so if I were planting something that was maybe a little more delicate than the onions, I would probably sift it when it was still dry and just get the smaller bits out of it, because you don't want to have a seed in there that can't get its feet in the soil per se, because it's sitting on top of a piece of mulch. I'll show you what the seeds look like. I'll try to zoom in on that so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to start out with putting 1 seed per cell, and if I have a ton left over, then I'll go ahead and double seed. It's always a good idea to double seed. Alright, they're small. I'm going to go ahead and double seed now. It's hard to just drop 1 seed in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and save the rest of the seeds. I might go ahead and start another succession of onions because it would be nice to have them ready at different times. Although onions are one of those things that you can dig up and store in the basement, you can probably store them all winter long. So these want to be planted a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm just going to go ahead and push down the soil. A nice little daddy long leg right there. Daddy long legs cannot bite people, but they do eat insects. So he gets to live in my greenhouse and I am not having a problem with that at all. Now, perhaps what I should have done was made a little hole and put the seeds in, and that was the proper way to do it instead of doing it the way that I did. But I'm going to be covering up with vermiculite, so I'm sure that everything's going to get covered up. So I did go ahead and clean it up a little bit, and even though my soil is moist, I'm going to go ahead and surface water it. And this water comes in from a rain barrel that I have outside. I just ran the hose line underneath the building with a metal hose line, and I added a pump, a water pump. And so then it just pumps the water right in, and it's so convenient. I had to detach it for probably a month because it was so cold and I didn't want the rain barrel to freeze. So I was trekking water out here from inside, so it's really nice to have that back on again. And then I'm covering it again with the vermiculite. Not too heavy. And the only thing left to do is cover it with a dome. Now I also need to go inside and get a label. If you think that you'll remember everything that that you have planted, trust me, you won't. Ask me how I know, because I have done it before. I have planted things direct sown outside and then pulled them later on thinking they were weeds. Poppies is a really good example because I think poppies look just like weeds. The greenery does anyway, not the flower. But that's all there is to it. I'm going to go get a tag and tag this. I'll get everything cleaned up and then I'll give you a little tour of the greenhouse. So here's the greenhouse, and I'll just take you around and show you how things are doing. This little guy, he's struggling a little bit, but he was struggling before I put him in here. So in the spring, I'll just add a few more pieces in there and clean him up. I know that you can propagate succulents extremely easy. So I'm going to look into that and probably just propagate some from what I have. I have this big beautiful guy that's facing the window, and he is just loving life right now. Has a few other babies on there. This is my hibiscus that has struggled ever since I've had it. I won't save hibiscus next year. Both hibiscus that I have had problems with aphids. So I don't know if aphids are just in here and they're attracted to them, which is why I'm kind of keeping them, because they're already struggling. I figure let the aphids have them. I've been trying to combat the aphid situation. I think I might have it under control, but we'll see. They like to attack the little baby buds. So if there's still some around, I'll come out tomorrow and they'll be on the buds. So yeah, as you can see there, there's still aphids. That's unfortunate. But I mean, I guess if they're only attacking one plant, I'm gonna just leave that plant in here and hope for the best. Mandevilla here, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's my daughter Jillian's. I have a couple pine trees down in there, some, lantana is what this is, and it's got a cute little flower on it. And all the plants that are in here, I dug up from the yard at the end of the season and just put them in here and hope for the best. So I haven't really started anything that's in here yet. All of my Gerber daisies, they're doing really well. They've just been producing flower after flower. They're always in bloom. This one, I had some blooms on it earlier on, and then I haven't had any for a while. So it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look great. It does have a little bit of new growth coming out. So I think it'll be okay. You know, I mean, it was really cold there for a while. You know, we got down into the teens and stuff. So it stayed pretty nice in here, but still colder than I think most annuals like. More Gerber daisies. The geraniums, which I don't know if the color is coming through, but they're absolutely gorgeous. Those are the onions I just sowed. There's a few other things that I propagated. These love the shade, so they're down here kind of hiding from the sun a little bit. Again, these are all the plants that I propagated. My succulents, and they all need cleaned up a bit. But you can see that it's 70 degrees in here right now with 64% humidity. Got a couple bananas up there. More Gerber daisies. I think this is called a jade plant. And boy, it's really thriving in here. It didn't look so great outside, but it is loving life in here. It's really done well. So this is like hard as concrete. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to repot it. Clearly they like deficiency because it is doing really well. This is where I just sowed the kale and the lettuce, have them marked, put a little sticky trap in there. These are all the begonias that I dug up out of the yard at the end of the season, and they're all doing great. So I have a rosemary here that it's not doing so great. It's still alive. So I took a couple cuttings off of that and propagated. So if I can get them to propagate and grow, I'll probably propagate off of those. These stems that are left are really woody, so I think those would have a hard time propagating. And then I had a couple hitchhikers that came in here at the end of the season. Those are tomatoes. So I thought I'll just leave them be, see how they do. I'm sure I'll have to pot those up in a bit because the deeper you plant tomatoes, the more they like it. And they're obviously not in very big pots back there. This, I'm not sure the name of it. Jillian got it for me for Christmas to put out here. I need to clean that up a bit. Another geranium. This one was Cheyenne's, my daughter-in-law, and she gave that to me at the end of the season. She said she had it outside for like 2 weeks and didn't water it. She was like waiting for it to die, and now look at it. So it's really bounced back and done well. More of the begonias. Elephant ear back here, that he's loving life, doing really well. That thing, when I put it in, looked like it was dead, but elephant ears are very, very resilient. Here is another one of those hibiscus, and again with the aphid situation, that is not good, and I've treated them several times, so I will treat it again. It does have new growth, but if I can limp it along until they can get back outside, hopefully they'll bounce back and make it, but we'll see. Here is another banana, not another, but a banana, and that was almost dead. It's another one. It's coming back really well. Another banana here, and it has a pup that's growing next to it. This is, gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It used to be called Wandering Jew, and they've changed the name of it, which is probably for the best. There's some really great looking stuff down there, and there's some really not great looking stuff down in there. So what I plan on doing with that is just cutting it back extremely hard and then get a flush of new growth, because it's a beautiful dark green plant. As you can see, there's even one in the elephant ear that's kind of limping along as well. Down here we have a fern that is loving life. It's doing so great. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So it's getting protected from the sun under the table. And then down here are all my begonias that I brought in. For the most part, they're doing great. This guy right here, I just found out a few days ago that the pot that it was in didn't have any drainage holes, so it was just sitting in a mucky mess. So I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna bounce back. I put it in a different pot, gave it some new soil, so it should bounce back and do really great. And I hear that these are extremely easy to propagate. So that is my next goal, because aren't those just beautiful? I don't even care if they have flowers or not. I mean, those are just beautiful. So that's it for now. My plans, I don't know if you've seen my videos where I built this, but I'll link those to the bottom. I plan on putting shelves all up on here that I can put my grow trays in. I plan on doing some soil blocks as well. And then in here, I have it connected to my potting shed, which is pretty dirty right now. But I say that it's pretty dirty. It doesn't look too bad, but it definitely needs cleaned. My little trash bin. So that is it. I'll turn the light on here. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Yeah, that made a huge difference. But there we go. That's the greenhouse. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions on seed starting, let me know. It's beginning to be that season. Over the next month, I'm going to be starting just tons and tons. Well, not tons, but lots and lots of seeds. So I will bring you along to see that. And if you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, God bless. Thanks for gardening with me, and have a great week.